Welcome to Hornbill TV. I'm Lishni Chaste. Nagaland trudged through another pandemic year 2021 saw the worst period of the COVID pandemic as the deadly virus went on a spree across the state. However, creation of new districts, Otin massacre, demand for repeal of Armed Force Special Powers Act, disagreement on shifting of Deputy Commissioner's Office Dimapur, formation of opposition-less government and Namhai Namde killings were understandably the top topics of the year. To what have been called a major development for the Naga people this year, Nagaland government has established 4 new districts in the state. Various tribes, at least 11, have also been demanding for a district, but the cabinet has considered only 4 districts. 21. The state government has announced 4 new districts: Nagaland, January 20, 2021, Tsiminu, Chumukidima and Newland, all in December 21, 2021, taking the number of districts in Nagaland to 15.
To me, it is for the administrative convenience. So we are not a political man. We do not know the details. But as a public, we welcome the government initiative in creating this new district. So, in fact, I have also given a press release. So we are congratulating the people of these 3 new districts: Chemenu, Chimukidima, and Newland. And I think the public should not have any apprehension, because it is just a matter of bringing the administration in the doorstep of the people. Yes.
Nagaland state has witnessed a horrific incident this year on December 4th after 13 civilians were brutally killed by the security forces. Condemning this brutal act, various organizations, individuals and student bodies have demanded the repeal of the Draconian Act 1958. After insistent demands, the centre on December 30th had again extended the imposition of the law. The Nagaland government has declared December 4th and 5th to observe as Black Day in the state. Incident of the year that not only took the state by storm but the whole nation was the Otin massacre on December 4th, where 13 civilians were gunned down by a unit of the 21 Para Special Forces, and next day another shot and killed by the Assam Rifles in Mon as protesters tried to storm the camp. The Otin killings led to massive protest rallies across Nagaland and also other northeastern states for repeal of Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958. The repeal of the draconian AFSPA may be a reality by the new year 2022. In the event, the 5-member committee instituted by the Union Home Ministry recommends revocation from Nagaland after around 63 years of being in force. The 5-member committee instituted on December 26 is to submit its report for repeal of AFSPA in Nagaland to centre within 45 days of its institution. Amid row over Nagaland killings, the centre has extended AFSPA in Nagaland for another 6 months on December 30th, even as a committee has been formed to look into the demand of removal of the law. On September 7th, the government of Nagaland issued an order to shift the administrative headquarters complex of Dimapur district from the town to Chumukidima, even after the government has been given warnings that it should not shift the branches or cells to new Deputy Commissioner's Office complex, Chumukidima.
Of Nagaland has been given a strong warning that it should not shift the administrative headquarters complex of Dimapur district from the town to Chumukidima. The government gave an order on September 7 to shift the branches or cells to new Deputy Commissioner's Office complex in Chumukidima. However, following the directive, several Dimapur-based civil society organizations appealed to the state government to withdraw the order and launched a series of protests. The civil societies also demanded the government to remove HQ Chumukidima Camp Dimapur Tech from the letterhead of DC Dimapur within 5 days with effect from September 29, 2021 and warned that in the event of such forceful move leading to any unwanted incidents, the civil societies and their affiliated bodies should not be held responsible. Hundreds of members of different civil society organizations even gathered at the office complex of Deputy Commissioner Dimapur and submitted an ultimatum to DC Rajesh Soundararajan IAS to be forwarded to the Chief Minister. The core committee of civil society organizations also held a peaceful public rally against shifting of Dimapur Deputy Commissioner's office from its present location to Chumukirima on October 5 from City Tower Junction to the DC's office. The core committee held a meeting with the PHED Minister Jacob Shimomi at his residence on the issue of shifting of the DC office. Against the backdrop of opposition from the Dimapur-based civil organizations, the state government on October 10 decided to revoke the September 7, 2021 order. The decision was declared following a meeting held between Deputy Chief Minister Y. Patton and a delegation of the CSO's core committee. The CSO core committee spokesperson Bindang said that the committee was satisfied, adding that the state government had addressed all the...
The political scenario of Nagaland state took a drastic change after the ruling and opposition political parties in Nagaland on September 18, 2021 finalized the formation of an opposition-less government. The new government, United Democratic Alliance, with an aim to resolve the Naga peace process, has joined hands to bring an early solution. All-party government on September 18, comprising of the ruling PDA, NDPP, BJP, with the opposition NPF under the nomenclature United Democratic Alliance, was the second political lowdown in Nagaland's political history. The first was when 8 opposition Congress MLAs joined the DAN, 3 comprising of NPF and BJP. Both all-party and opposition-less governments were formed for the same objective, unity for the cause of early solution to the Naga political issue. The decade-pending Naga peace process came to light again after R.N. Ravi, former governor of Nagaland and interlocutor of the Naga peace talks, was appointed as the governor of Nagaland in July 2019. But many has expressed disappointment during his tenure, the way he functioned, and claimed his transfer was a relief in Nagaland. Another major development that took place was the transfer of incumbent governor of Nagaland, R.N. Ravi, to Tamil Nadu, following discord with the ruling PDA government in the state and the NSC and IM over the latter's demand for flag and constitution as part of solution. Ravi also resigned as interlocutor on September 22nd, and the government of India appointed retired IB director A.K. Mishra as the representative for talks with the NSC and IM before finalizing solutions. Another major development was the introduction of the securitization and reconstruction of financial assets and enforcement of security interests, SARFAESI Act 2002, the Nagaland Legislative Assembly on November 25th. December 10th, the government announced implementation of SARFAESI Act 2002 with immediate effect. The introduction of the securitization and reconstruction of financial assets and enforcement of security interests, SARFAESI Act 2002, the Nagaland Legislative Assembly on November 25th. December 10, the government announced implementation of SARFAESI Act 2002 with immediate effect. In accordance to the provision of the Nagaland Land and Revenue Regulations Amendment Act 2002, the sale of secure assets taken by the banks and financing institutions is concerned, it can be sold only to indigenous inhabitants of Nagaland. Register of Indigenous Inhabitants of Nagaland has been launched in the state in July 2019. Since then, the state government has been trying to revive the REIN exercise. In this regard, various peaceful protests and rallies were held demanding the implementation of REIN. Events that took place during the year, such as the pleas for imposing inner line permit throughout Dimapur district. On December 9, 2019, the government of Nagaland in a notification extended the ILP regulation to the entire Dimapur district. To identify who came under the ambit of ILP, the government initiated a process of preparing the register of indigenous inhabitants of Nagaland on July 10, 2019, and to prepare guidelines, the government then announced the constitution of a three-member commission on RIN on July 28, 2019, headed by former Chief Secretary Banyo Z. Jamio. The commission submitted its report to the government by end of 2019, but the cabinet has yet to take any decision even after 1.5 years. The JCPI and other organizations asked the government to table the RIN Commission report at Assembly session in 2020, but that did not happen. Assam and Nagaland have long border disputes. Tensions resurface along the disputed Assam-Nagaland border in Jorhat district around the areas of Ausendan village and Vukutor village. However, effective steps were taken by both parties to resolve the standoffs.
Officer Bityut Kumar Borthakur informed of an illegal construction being made near the Ausendan village of Mugukchung in the Soy Valley Reserve Forest by miscreants. The forest falls under the Mariani Forest Range of Jorhat district. The construction was, however, dismantled by the forest personnel and Assam police with support from the Jorhat district administration. Assam and Nagaland share a 434-kilometer border. The boundary dispute between the two states is more than 6 decades old and has been marked by frequent skirmishes. In the last major clash in 1985 at Mirapani, 41 people including 28 Assam policemen were killed. To de-escalate detention prevailing at two locations in the Disoy Valley Forest, Sirangkong Valley, the Chief Secretaries of Assam and Nagaland signed an agreement by simultaneously withdrawing security forces within the next 24 hours. The agreement was signed following a meeting at Dimapur between Assam Chief Secretary Jishnu Barua and his Nagaland counterpart J. Alam in the presence of Nagaland Deputy Chief Minister Y. Peton and Assam Education Minister Ranoj Pegu. The meeting also decided that the superintendents of police of the district of Mugukchung, Nagaland and Jorhat, Assam shall ensure orderly withdrawal of the respective forces and shall be responsible for it. Discussions were held only for the particular area, but the issues related to other areas along the interstate border was also known to be.
And our Chief Minister of Assam, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, for their statesmanship in resolving the border issues between Assam and Nagaland. So I congratulate the people of Assam and Nagaland as well that today we have signed an agreement for simultaneous withdrawal of our forces in Mariani area, and I hope we will be able to maintain the cordial relationship between the two states. And Honorable Deputy Chief Minister Patton has personally requested me to see the issues pertaining to checking in check gates and sometimes harassment of the commuters. That definitely I will discuss with our Honorable Chief Minister and take appropriate action so that the friendship and the relationship between government and as well as the relationship between the people to people, it remains very cordial between the two states. চেক গেট যিবিলাক আছে আজি মোক মন্ত্ৰী ডাঙৰীয়াই জনাইছে যে চেক গেটত কিছু সমস্যাৰ সৃষ্টি হয়। মই মাননীয় মুখ্যমন্ত্ৰী ডাঙৰীয়াৰ লগত আলোচনা কৰি আমি নাগালেণ্ড আৰু অসম আমি একেখন ৰাষ্ট্ৰৰ
Nagaland state had ample of border disputes in the past years. In the past years, one such incident is the inter-district border dispute of Lamhainamdi incident on March 22nd had claimed 3 lives. The state was the brutal killings of 3 persons by a group of unidentified gunmen on March 22, 2021 at Lamhainamdi village in Peran district. In this connection, Nagaland police arrested 7 accused individuals, including the village chief and underground cadres. On March 23rd, a suo motu case in crime against unknown persons was registered by State Crime Police Station, while an SIT headed by a senior police officer was constituted for investigation of the case. The investigation had revealed that the 19 accused persons were part of a deep-rooted criminal conspiracy of plan, prepare and execute the killing of 3 persons at Lamhainamdi village. Nagaland state has seen major political developments this year, with the state government forming an opposition-less government and also the NSCN reformation splitting into two different groups. The split has been claimed to be a power struggle within the outfit. Political development amongst the Naga national political groups, the NSCN reformation has split into two different groups. Former Vice President of the undivided NSCNR, Akato Chopi, was unanimously elected as the President of the new NSCNR group. The group's MIP Kilongser A.V. Chopi clarified that the split was not because of leadership issue but remaining true and loyal to the constitution of then undivided NSCN of the 1980s.
And then we declared the split and also announces unilateral ceasefire with the government of India. And then what we want to say is, what we want others to know is that we are not following any personal leader like Imakato Chipi or Wang Ting or Tikap. We are following the constitution. That is why I just brought the constitution also. This constitution was drafted in the 80s, and then the NSCN constitution is here. This is the Yazabo, this is the party discipline. So we are not following Akato or we are not following Tikap or whomsoever. We are just following whomsoever the leader who adheres to this constitution. So what we would like to say to people is, like, we are not asking people to support us also, but support who is right. That is the only thing we want to say to people, that we are not asking that support us, support him or whatever, but we will be very glad that if people they can support, they know, people know who is right and who is wrong. So like our only request is that, so you can support whoever is right. If we are wrong, that is up to the individual preference. So like that is the thing. And then in the meeting, we found that the present vice president, he was the only person who could adhere, who had the potential to adhere to the constitution. So in the meeting, our home council proposed the name of our vice president to be unanimously elected to the post of president, and then it was seconded by our collective leader, Sir Vino. Last time he was here, but today, like because of some minor health problem, he has left. So he seconded, and then the house unanimously seconded, and then it was declared by our pro tem speaker, our SGO. So
the COVID-19 pandemic has affected educational systems worldwide, leading to the near total closures of schools, early childhood education and care, services, universities and colleges. Education has changed enormously with a transition for the students as well as teachers to online teaching learning. With the easing of various restrictions in Nagaland state, educational institutions have started opting for offline classes, leading to some unrest among a certain section of the students demanding online examinations.
We are student leaders, student council Barasimhan. We are standing for student rights.
We are bringing the students' grievances, so we believe that they will look into the matter carefully, and we are waiting for the good answers.
We want online for this semester. We are begging to the NU to look into our matter and to understand our situation, the grievances that we are facing right now.
After lockdown has been lifted in Nagaland, educational institutions have started opting for offline classes. In the wake of this transition from online to offline and the decision to conduct offline examinations for the colleges in the state by Nagaland University, there has been some unrest among a certain section of the students demanding online examinations. This unrest among the students led to the protests against the decision of conducting offline exams out in the streets of Dimapur, Mokokchung and Longland on 25th, 26th November 2021. The street protest by students in Dimapur raised a slogan which read, "What started online should end online." The demand and protest by the students till the day has received various mixed opinions. Different unions and students also appealed the Nagaland University authorities to assess the situation and listen to the grievances of the students.
We also did our part. We tried to convince the Nagaland University to go ahead with the online mode of exam, if not, at least give some space in the routine. However, it was not possible. So I would like to request my dear students to kindly bear with it.
Before the exams conduct is announced, you have your college principal, you have your subject teacher. You should have confronted them politely that since the syllabus are not properly covered, or the exams were not, or the classes that were taken through online were not understood properly, you are not ready for the examinations.
The Nagaland College Principal Association stated that a massive majority of the students opted for offline examination in the students' assessment in the college. In this regard, the NCPA affirmed to stand firm in the Nagaland University.
Illegal taxation in the state has been a serious issue with many people raising voice against it. Despite protests, this year people were seen taking protests to streets, conducting peaceful rallies against the multiple illegal taxations which has been prevalent in the state for decades. The state has faced major problems over illegal taxations from various Naga national political groups and government agencies. In this regard, various business communities and organizations like Dimapur Chamber of Commerce and Industries and Confederation of Nagaland Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Nagaland Voluntary Consumers Organization and Nagaland Medicine Dealers Association has expressed dismay over rampant illegal taxations in the state. To show resentment for multiple taxations prevalent in the state, Dimapur Chamber of Commerce and Industries on September 16, 2021, called for a total shutdown of all shops and business establishments in Dimapur. With the state government's initiative, the Hornbill Festival since its inception in 2000 has been celebrated with great vigor. The state greets all international and national tourists to celebrate its culture. But for the past year and this year, the festival has witnessed major drawbacks because of pandemic and the incident of monk killings. The Hornbill Festival, which is also known as Festival of Festivals and one of the biggest festivals in Nagaland, was put on hold for a year due to pandemic. However, with the decline of COVID cases, this year festival kicked off with a vibrant start. But unlike any other years, the festival had lasted only for 5 days due to unfortunate incident which took place in Mon district on December 4th, where 13 civilians were killed in an ambush by the 21 paramilitary forces. Nagaland government decided to call off the festival. The incident had caused a massive public outcry and demand for repeal of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958. That was an end to the recap of the major events and developments that took place in the state this year. The new year is almost here and it's a good time to reiterate our promise. The stories will continue with honesty and without bias. Keep watching Hornbill TV.